Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Well, according to some analysts, the annual economic impact of the equine industry is something like $300 billion. There's 4 million horses, 1.6 million full-time jobs. That's a big industry. And our guests right now on the Jeff Crilley Show, David Mace Roberts, he's the general counsel, and Sharon Caswell, she is the CEO of PonyUp Technologies. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you,
Jeff.
All right, so this is like what's my line? I'm going to let you guys explain what you guys do. But when I was on your website, I was like, why didn't somebody think of this a long time ago? Sharon, why don't we start with you?
That's a question that we get asked all the time. And the reason is there just wasn't the right technology to do it.
Okay, so what is it that you do?
We have a monitor that goes on a horse's leg, and it uses Bluetooth to communicate, and it measures blood pressure, continuous blood pressure monitoring, heart rate, along with complete heart function. So you get an EKG equivalent readout along with a lot of medical information.
Wow.
So it's diagnostic equipment. It also gives you respiration. There are other parameters that it monitors, but we're not reporting them right now because we're in the middle of doing research on those.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, every time you tell somebody this at a cocktail party, that they say, "Oh my goodness, it's so simple, but it works." I mean, it's. Why don't we bring you into this, David?
Well, it's really pretty amazing. This is the sort of technology and solution that breeders have been looking for, veterinarians, racetracks, owners, transportation companies. It's medical quality diagnostics that with our cloud application can be monitored anywhere in the world. So if you have a horse that happens to be racing in Dubai and you're in your farm in Lexington, Kentucky, you can pull up the computer and is my horse stressed? Is my horse feeling well? Is my horse doing well? If you're a breeder and you're given the costs of trying to conceive a foal, you want to make sure the mare and the stallion have optimal characteristics before they.
Absolutely. And I think some people who are not familiar with the equine industry, these horses, the elite horses, can sell for millions of dollars. I mean, this is a big investment.
Right. Yeah. Tappet, who has 3 offspring racing today in the Preakness, in the Belmont, he's valued right now at $150 million.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, most people don't think of horses being that valuable, but there are many, many horses that are, million-dollar horses.
Well, tell me a story. Have you had any success stories so far that, had it not been for your technology, the horse would have died? Or do you get those kinds of reports back?
We don't have the product released yet.
Okay.
We're just starting our beta trials.
Okay, got you.
We've had alpha trials, but I can tell you that in the Preakness, in that first race, chances are if they'd had the device on that horse before it raced, it would not have been entered in the race.
Wow.
There was probably something wrong with it that no one could see, but we would be able to see it. The device that we have actually samples 250 records a second. And so it paints almost a perfect, flawless picture of what's going on inside that horse.
Do you see this at some point being kind of an industry standard? I mean, it's just like along with everything else that goes into the upkeep of a horse.
Absolutely.
That is a great question.
Absolutely. There are several different areas that are already saying that they're very interested in it to become the standard for those disciplines.
Wow.
And one of the areas that we're testing right now is with endurance racing. During the World Equestrian Games in Lexington, Kentucky, 117 horses broke down in that race. And I got calls from vets at that time asking, when is this going to be ready? It's something we really need.
And I imagine we're coming into the summer months here where, already some of these elite horses are working hard. But with the summer heat, I mean, it really can be deadly, can it not, David?
Oh, it definitely can. They're under a lot of stress, and these are animals that are many animals that are, whether it's dressage, whether it's polo, whether they're thoroughbreds, whether they're quarter horses that are training, and the animals can't speak, right? Which is one reason why our device is so useful for all of these disciplines and the various industries, because you can tell what's going on with your horse, so you don't put your horse at risk.
So, like, if I was, I had a multi-million-dollar horse, and I'm asleep, but my horse is having an episode. Do I get an alert?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, you can set thresholds on your device. So if you have a horse, for example, that colics often, you can set thresholds, and it will send you a text message.
Wow.
We can send both text messages and audio messages.
Sharon, how was this idea born?
Oh, geez. I used to not be able to tell this story without crying, but people who live in this area probably remember in May of 2008, there was a little girl riding with her dad in Benbrook, Texas, and he went into a convenience store, came out with a couple of cans of Coke, popped the top on one, and it spooked her horse. Her horse dragged her for 1.5 miles, and she died. Okay. And I thought, I'm an engineer. I'm working in advanced technology. Why can't we use technology to stop something like this from happening? But what we wouldn't be able to see, we have to be able to see in real time all the vital information, because a horse, when it bolts like that, ramps from 0 to 90. And as far as I knew, there was no technology like that. So I started looking and found a company in Virginia that was actually developing this kind of technology for the Navy. And I contacted them and asked them if I could take a look at their technology. And I lucked out because the owner of that company also owned horses, and he got it right off. And the rest is history. So.
Wow. That's a very touching story, and you did get through it without crying. But I can
used to.
No, but I mean, it's very heartfelt. David, let's bring you back into the conversation. It's in beta right now. What is how many months are we looking at before it would be available to the public?
Well, we're estimating that hopefully the product will be in general release within 30 days.
Wow.
We're already identifying those individuals, hospitals, vets, et cetera, who will take the preliminary systems, test them on the horses, give us feedback, make sure it's working the way we think it should be working, the way it's been working in the labs and everything. We'll make whatever tweaks we have, and then go live.
Do you see this as primarily a tool for the ultra rich, or is this just a regular horse owner?
Well, I would say the regular horse owner. First of all, horses aren't inexpensive, and it's not like going to PetSmart and you pick up your cat. I mean, I have a friend who called me and told me that he bought his second horse for his daughter, and the horse cost more than their first house. So the cost of horses can ramp up quickly. The dollar amount of horse care. I mean, our devices and system is proactive. It's not reactive. So it's live, and you can really focus on the wellness of your horse rather than fixing it after the horse has had an episode.
I wonder, maybe you've been asked this question or thought about this question. It seems like if I was I owned a multi-million-dollar horse and I was wanting to get insurance on the horse, this device would be of great interest to the insurance industry that insures horses, would it not?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Absolutely. One of the things that will happen is the insurance rates on horses that have this device available to them should be reduced because you can get early detection on an illness, and that saves cost and could save the life of the horse. Things like colic and laminitis are two of the major areas that we would concentrate on.
So give me some of the vital statistics that it's measuring right now in beta.
In beta, it's measuring continuous blood pressure, full cardiac function, including heart rate, and respiration.
Okay. And each one of those is giving different information that's important. Not just, respiration is, to me, obvious, but blood pressure. Your horse could have, I guess, eaten something that could have caused it to spike.
Well, and our device is the only non-invasive way so you don't need an arterial catheter for the a blood pressure and pulse, and actually it's so accurate that you can perform surgery. And surgeries that's how we're testing it. You can perform surgeries with the horse, and it's a lot less stressful on the animal because there's no arterial catheter.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Sharon, we've got about a minute left in this segment. How do people keep track of this? Should they go to your website?
Yes, our website is PonyUpTechnologies.com. And we post information like our, being on your show today. But any event that we're going to, we post on the site. We also are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
And in hopefully 30 days, the general public will be able to buy this. This is awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you both for being on the Jeff Crilley Show. This was an amazing
thank you so
segment.
much, Jeff.
Okay, we'll have you back sometime.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, it is a very competitive job market, and the battle for top talent is getting fierce. A company that is helping employers win the war for peak performers is just ahead on the Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to The Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.